Hi, everyone. Welcome to this week's AdvocateHub class. My name is Nadine, and I am the Support Magician intern. Today, I will talk about the Segmentation Tips and Tricks version 2.0. It's a second version because there's already been an AdvocateHub class in the past that discussed how to use targeting and the tips and tricks. But a lot of things has changed in the AdvocateHub since the past videos, so I would like to use this opportunity to update you and teach you all the new and improved ways for you to manipulate segmentations. Okay. Before we go into this class, I just want to briefly introduce myself. My name is Nadine, and I am the intern here for the period of January until August 2016. I am currently in my 4th year studying psychology and business at University of Waterloo. And as you can see throughout the presentation today, you will see a lot of blue and a lot of pun jokes. So watch out for those. And thank you for those who completed the VIP challenge that we posted about the AdvocateHub class. You guys have a lot of good questions that I will answer throughout the class. But we will, at the end of this class, we also have a Q&A session. So you could just chat or call in with the following conference ID and number displayed on the presentation. So I'll give you a couple seconds to write it down. Okay. And then I just want to say a quick thank you to Don and Lev for helping me prepare this and host my first AdvocateHub class today. So here we go. Here's the agenda for the class. So we will first review the 2 past videos and revisit what are the key points from those classes, since there's quite a lot of points that are still applicable. So I will make sure to mention them throughout the class. And then we're going to go over what are the 5 W's of segmentation, which is the what, where, why, when, and who uses segmentations or targeting. After that, we will cover the tips and tricks across targeting that I think would help some of the administrators find new and creative ways to target materials. I will then go over the important notes that we recommend administrators to keep in mind while using targeting. And lastly, we'll end with a question and answers. So okay, on to the review. So these are the 2 past AdvocateHub classes that talks about targeting. Maybe some of you can see familiar faces here. I should let you know that this PowerPoint will be available for you after class, so you don't have to worry about copying the URL link here. And the videos of the past class is also available at support.infodist.com/solution, so you can just search the title for the class there. Okay. Let's go to Heather's class. So Heather's class was divided in 2 parts. The first part covers the how to use groups and segmentation magic. Note that the class is done in 2014, so there's been a few changes and updates in the hub since then. You might notice from watching the video that a few buttons or menus are moved somewhere else in the hub, but don't worry, we will rediscover them in the class. Second part of Heather's class covers the why part, answering questions like, why would you use targeting? What would be the benefit of using targeting? In Adam's class that he did a year ago, there are 6 points that I could take from his class. So first is to do the right thing by using multiple methods to unlock challenges and create an all-advocate group right from the start. We will go over these methods in the future slides as it is still applicable to current situations. Regarding the geographical challenges, Infodist provides this special challenge template that asks where the advocates are located so that you can put them in groups by location. After that, you target the appropriate challenges and rewards to the specific groups in the countries. He also mentioned how to leverage responses using NPS scores, which is something that I think is pretty cool. We'll talk about that a little bit over the next slides as well. But overall, Adam's class encourages administrators to tailor and organize their hub from the start. Okay, perfect. So we'll go to the 5 W's of segmentations. First is, what is segmentation? Segmentation is when you target or divide specific groups of advocates in your hub and use that grouping rules to tailor their AdvocateHub experience and only provide relevant information available and applicable to the specific groups. And you can access the targeting panel by going to the Groups, Challenge, Rewards, Experience tab And by clicking the Edit button and viewing the Targeting tab, it's either going to be called Targeting or Eligibility. So you can see the screenshots of what it looks like. Okay, second, where can you find segmentations? Okay, you can find segmentations in challenges. If you create a new challenge, there's a targeting section that you must fill out before the challenge can be saved. You can also have the option to make the challenge live in an experience, so only those who can access the experience can complete them. And it's also available in experience. You can use this to target to allow people to access and view the experience and be in the experience and access a set of challenges inside the experience. Next one is groups. This is where segmentation is played and manipulated the most. Basically, you can put a number of advocates with a similar criteria into one group and just target all the challenges, experiences, rewards to that specific group. And then another targeting is also available in rewards. So perhaps you would like to differentiate between which advocates would like more intrinsic types of rewards like gift card, or which advocates would like to see more of an extrinsic reward types like a chance to be a speaker or at a conference or any professional development rewards. It could also help with limiting bad advocates from accessing rewards and abusing them. And lastly, it will be available in Advanced Community. This is a feature or an add-on for hubs who would like to target their community to either allow people outside of the hub to participate in the discussion or to target specific groups in the hub to access the specific topic or forum. It might not be in your hub plan, but if you're interested to enable this feature, please speak to your coach and we'll get the ball rolling from there. Next question. Oh, we have a poll here. Yay! Make it. So you could just go ahead and click which do you think is the correct answer to this question. I'm sure all of you will be able to answer this easy question. So I'll just give a couple seconds for you to answer. Okay, so we'll see the results. And ooh, the majority of you got it correct. Right, all administrators and any administrative roles can manipulate the segmentation rules. Remember, advocate will only experience it, but they will not be made aware that they are being segmented, so they will never know. They will never know that they're being grouped unless there's a challenge asking them to join a group or an experience. Cool. And then number 4, why segmentations are useful. Well, and why would you want to use them? So this is compilations of answers between Heather's and Adam's class. So generally for advocates and employees, targeting can be manipulated so that it will not overwhelm the newly joined advocates. If there's a huge list of challenges in the hub when the advocates first join, it could disrupt their user experience and first impression of the hub. And so we want to make sure to start small and make sure to show the challenges and experience that are relevant and interesting to them in order to generate more interest in completing more challenges in the future. And then using starter challenges and challenge unlocking could also be useful to onboard or train new employees. The screenshot here is actually taken from the hub that Don created for the new support magician to learn the duties and responsibilities of a support magician. You can see there's a notification, that the blue notifications on top of the challenges, saying that, oh, there's new challenges unlocked after you completed a set of challenge. And this will hopefully generate more desire to complete challenge. Lastly, targeting is useful for catered and tailored experience in the hub for your advocates based on where they live, where they're from, what their title or position is, and how long they've been in the hub. An example that Adam mentioned in his class revolves around how you need to know your advocate first. For example, if the advocates live in the USA versus Europe, you would need to make sure that the targeted rewards are either in US dollars or in euros. Also, we need to count the cultural differences in countries and the use of words that that countries use differently. For example, sports. Some countries use the word football. Some countries use the word soccer. So you got to be careful of your word choice, or like national holidays, to make sure that the challenges are applicable to the advocates in the specific area. Advocate marketers. Why is segmentations useful? Well, first is admins can use segmentation to generate product reviews or feedback and references based on NPS scores. So you could identify your top fans from high NPS score and target them to do referral challenges, for example. And to those who rated a lower NPS scores, you can target like product review or feedback challenges to find out why they rated a low NPS scores and find out how to improve your product. The second point is you can use targeting to get to know your advocates, as I've said before, and you can use it to find certain advocates with specific qualifications or criteria that you need. You can put them in, and then you can put them into groups and segment challenges, rewards, experiences based on them. Lastly, targeting can also help with lead generation. So for example, if you create campaigns that include sets of challenges to unlock after completing specific activities or achieving a specific badge, it will create a sense of desire in the advocates to be more active and to be more engaged in the hub. Next, number 5, when do we need to use segmentation? Well, the answer to that is always, and always from the start. Start from the start, yes. Especially when you want to tailor your advocates' experience, organize them into groups. One tip to organize groups, it's extremely important to put descriptions on each group when you create them. Don't be afraid to make it as detailed as possible so that it will lessen the confusion of other admins in the hub, perhaps, in case they're wondering what groups they are and who are included in those groups. All right. And let's dive into the tips and tricks. I have 3 scenarios or instances here with me. Each scenario has 2 or 3 points that I will cover, and I will conclude each scenario with solutions and best practices if applicable. Okay, let's go to the first one. Group magic. So group segmentation is really important, as I've stressfully I've repeatedly said throughout the class. Creating groups can help you organize your hubs so much better in terms of knowing the type of advocates are in your hub and to target challenges and rewards based on the groups of people. The first trick is to create an all advocates group. You can see the screenshot here. You can create an all advocates group by targeting everyone in the hub and excluding other groups who is not considered as advocates. For example, employees or partners or any other non-advocate groups, or groups of people that you don't want to see advocate-related contents, for example. This group will also include individuals in the hub who are not a part of any groups. But in order for this to work, you need to first set up different groups beforehand. The best way to add advocates to these groups are either to use join or invite codes or to target them based on match criteria. I have a question from VIP here from Kimberly asking, when is it okay to target everyone? Well, it's okay to target everyone if you're trying to get to know your advocates more, or if you want to ask general questions that are applicable to the majority of the advocates and that you want the challenge or rewards to stay in the hub for a long time. So it's okay for you to target those those to everyone. And these information from the challenges are then used to segment the advocates into groups. So it's like the first stage for you to filter into groups. But the downside for that is that in the long run, when you target to everyone, there will be somewhat more work when it comes to segmenting new groups of advocates. For example, if you want to add another non-advocate group in the future and you don't want them to see the past advocates related contents, you won't have to go back into each of the past challenges to change the targeting. You can just add an exclusion rule to the all advocate group that you just created, and the rules will then apply to the challenges that targets all advocate groups. So yeah, I hope that makes sense. But if you're still confused, feel free to ask me any questions. Okay, moving on. The second tip in group magic is to use groups to manually add advocates regardless of exclusion rules. Note that this ability is not available in experience, rewards, or challenges in a case where exclusion rules are used. So it's really, really, really important and convenient to create groups. So I have an example for you here. I have a castle experience here with the following targeting rules in my test hub. Also, note that I have no affiliations with Disney or whatsoever. I just love Disney so much. So I'll be happy to use this as an example. So basically, I want to include all the princesses to be able to see the castle experience, but exclude any title that includes mermaid, because the ball is on land, and unfortunately mermaids will probably have trouble attending the ball. But anyways, I really wanted one specific mermaid, which is Ariel, to be in the experience as well. But I can't add her manually because her title contains mermaid, so she's excluded from the experience. As you can see from the screenshot here, I tried to manually add her by using the individuals and advocates rule. And you can see from the right-hand side that Ariel will still not show on the list. That list is really helpful for you to test whether the targeting rules and segmentations actually works. So it's always important to check whether targeting rules make sense. So what do I do then? I really wanted Ariel to be in the experience regardless of the exclusion rules. So here's what I do. Instead of doing the targeting in the experience, I would go and create a new group called Castle Experience Group and copy the rules from the experience, and then I manually add Ariel to that Castle Experience Group using the Add Advocates button found in the group setting. And I would have to go back to the experience, reset all the targeting rules, and just to add the Castle Experience Group. See here in this screenshot here, it was previously 11 princesses, and now because Ariel is manually added to that Castle Experience Group, she's also added in the experience there. So it serves the group targeting and the experience targeting here serves the same rules. Let me rephrase that. The group targeting serves the same rules as the experience, but as you can see, it's more manipulative in groups because you can't add advocates manually in experiences, rewards, and challenges if there's exclusion rules. Okay. So next scenario. Scenario 2 involves a campaign. So I will show you what an advocate would go through to complete an all 4-stage campaign. And I'll mention what is happening in the back end too, so it all makes sense. The objective of this campaign is that I want to teach my advocate, Wendy Darling, to learn how to fly like Peter Pan. Here's the table summary of my process. And so before we start going through the stages, there are 3 things that I would like you all to put your attention to. I've designed this campaign to show how groups for experiences is used, and 2, how to challenge unlock, and 3, and how to use badges and achievements to move advocates to groups automatically. Okay, let's start. Stage 1. So I would have to ask whether advocates would like to join an experience to fly like Peter Pan. So this challenge is targeted to everyone because I want to segment the advocates who are interested into a group. If they answered yes, they will be put in 2 groups. One is the flying experience group, and the second one is the pilot group. So why do I have 2 groups? Okay, so the first group is what I will use to target the experience. So the flying experience will include this specific group, the flying experience group, and all the list of people inside that group, which is coming from the challenge and the advocates who agreed to join the experience. Now the second one, I forgot to add. The first group's targeting here is set. So I would refrain from manipulating targeting here because anything you do to this group will affect the experience visibility. So we need to be careful with that. However, the second group, this is why the second group is there, the second group allows such manipulations, and this is the group where I will move to the Neverland group. So pilot group is the first group, and then if I want to move people automatically to the Neverland group, I would have to set some targeting there, and which we will discuss later. Okay, so move on to stage 2. So this is what it looks like in the pilot group. The advocates in this group would have to have access to these 3 challenges in order. So experience step 1, faith in fairies, step 2, trust yourself, and step 3, pixie dust. So in order for them to fly, basically you need to have faith, you need to have trust, and you need to have pixie dust. That's what I'm trying to show advocates for my campaign to fly. And I want them to follow these specific steps in order. So I use challenge unlocking when advocates completed the challenge. For example, if they completed step 1, the step 2 challenge will unlock. And then if they complete step 2, step 3 will unlock. And what happens after step 3 is completed? They will get a pixie dust badge. So this is important because in the pilot group, I've excluded any members who earn pixie dust so that they will be automatically taken out of the pilot group and onto the Neverland group. As you can see my workflow here. So from pilot group, pixie dust badge, Neverland group, and then in the Neverland group, they have access to all other challenges in that group, specifically for that group. Okay. Okay. Last scenario. Scenario 3 involves match criteria and Salesforce import. Basically, I want to import my advocate's company size information from Salesforce to my hub. So what do? First, I need to have Salesforce integration installed in my hub if I want to pull information from Salesforce. And we have a KB article at support that outlines the steps in detail, and the article is called Mapping Your Match Criteria with Salesforce. So you're welcome to check that out. Note that it's also possible to do CSV import to update advocates' match criteria in their profile. So if you don't have Salesforce and you would like to update the profile, you could always use CSV import. So First step, how do you add match criteria? Next slide. So to do this, I need to go to Settings, System tab, and Match Categories. And for example, I want to map the number of employees. So I'll just add the text field there, name, number of employees, and then click Save. After that, I have to go to my Salesforce integrations, which are shown here in the screenshot. So if you go to your Salesforce integrations, under the Settings tab, you go to Automatic Customer Data Import. From there, you can scroll down to Add Mapping. See in the bottom there? There's a plus sign and Add Mapping. This is a tool where we could tell Salesforce which information from Salesforce that we want to pull into which specific field in our hub. Right. So here, if I want to pull out the information from Salesforce, I would choose contact dash numbers of employees on the influencer field, and then choose account employees under Salesforce field. And you can see from the second screenshot there, that my information that I got from Salesforce shows that there are 200 employees there. So I want that information from Salesforce to be available in my hub. After you're mapping, you have to click Save Mapping, and then you can, next slide. And then you can click the Run Import button to integrate the data right now at this moment. If you don't click the button, it's okay. The information for Salesforce will be automatically integrated every day at midnight. So it will always repopulate the most up-to-date information from Salesforce. So I have an example here. If we go over at John's profile, we can see that the match criteria under number of employees is populated. Also important to note that only administrators can see the match criteria under an advocate's profile. Advocates themselves cannot see it from their end. So this is a valuable feature because we can do more advanced targeting here that involves company sizes. Unfortunately, we don't currently do targeting for ranges. So for example, we can't really target company sizes that has a size of 100 employees until 150 employees, but we can target companies with exactly 100 people. There is a workaround, however, but it will be complicated and it involves a lot more effort to target ranges. But if you really, really like to know the workaround, or if you think that it will greatly help your hub, please let the support team know and we could help you. Next is the best practices for match criteria. So when advocates first join, there are 4 fields that advocates can edit by themselves, which is name, email, title, and company. So I have a scenario here. What if when the advocates first join, their information in Salesforce shows that the title is a vice president, VP, but the advocate has since been promoted to CEO. So they went ahead and changed and edit their profile from the hub and just fill it and sorry. So yeah, and AdvocateHub, they would edit their profile to CEO because they've been promoted. So Note that Salesforce will not update these fields once the advocate has made changes themselves, because that would be the advocates will have uh, the advocates will be confused because after they edit it and then they go back into the hub and their information is being changed, that's not a good user experience for the advocates. So wait, so there's a discrepancy between the two, between Salesforce and between hubs. So what do? We recommend to use the catch-all, what we call a catch-all system. So we can create a new match criteria called Salesforce title in the hub and map that criteria with the contact title from Salesforce. This way, when we create a challenge, we can do a double filter targeting to catch the advocates who recently changed their title. So it's like a double filter to make sure that you caught any changes made from the hub by the advocates that we have no control of. Okay, that's scenario 3. Okay, so we are in the last section of the class. So I want to point out some things to keep in mind while using targeting. So I've concocted a wordplay here to help you remember better when using the criteria rules for any or all. Using any, meaning anti-any likes a lot of people. It means that using any, you'll generate a lot more people because the rules are less strict. But then if you're using all, or Uncle Al, there are less people targeted because the rules are stricter. You need to fulfill all the rules, not just 1 or 2 rules. You need to have all the rules to be able to be in the group or to be able to be included in the targeting. Oh, also keep in mind that exclusion always wins. So, okay, and then the next point. If you see the first screenshot here, if you put 2 rules in 1 line, you're actually generating more people because it serves as an either or. So for example, if I put them in 1 line, it will include all the people who completed either the first challenge or those people who have completed the second challenge. So then on the second screenshot, it means that you need to fulfill the first rule and the second rule. So both rules need to be fulfilled in order for you to be included in the targeting. Right. The third point is to not use punctuations when you write out numbers in rules because it will show inaccurate results. With the comma, you can see it from the first screenshot there, it generates the list of advocates who has a total of more or equals to 20 points, which is a lot of people. See 17 advocates there, because the comma will stop, the punctuation will only allow the targeting rules before the comma. Yes, and then for the second screenshot, if you use without a comma, it will register as include advocates who have total points more than 20,000. So yes, so please be careful using punctuations. Then fourth point, to manually add people to a group. If you want to manually add people to the group, you can just use blank targeting and just manually add the advocates to the group. And there are 3 ways to manually add advocates, which is through the Add Advocates button, the CSV import, or you can go to the specific advocates profile under the group tab and add the groups from there. So you can see blank targeting. You can just tick the radio button where it says these members should satisfy all of the following conditions, but then don't put any rules in there. Okay. Last thing. this is the last slide before questions and answers. So if you want to if you want to test some stuff before saving the targeting, you can always click a new tab and go to the Groups tab and create a new group and test the targeting there without saving it. So as I said, as I mentioned it before, the list on the right-hand side of the panel really helps you figure out whether the targeting rule works as it should or works as you prefer. So yeah. All right. We have any questions or concerns or comments here? Okay. Thank you all so much for those who attended the class. We will see you again in 2 weeks' time for the next AdvocateHub class. Thank you. Have a good day.